21% said vertically, and 17% said they don't cut it at all. Monsters. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Now, how will you be celebrating today?
Monsters. I'm shocked. 36 a year.
That seems like a lot.
I haven't had one in years.
I have a couple a year just because I have young daughters, and they like a grilled cheese. And whenever I make one, I'm like, that does sound good right about now.
It does sound good. I'm not going to lie.
I don't need avocado on it. I don't need tomato on it. Just give me the Velveeta, the orange square cellophane, good melty cheese, nice thick bread. I'm good. Maybe dip it in a little Dijon. I don't need all the other stuff. They try and make grilled cheese a little too fancy these days. Yeah. I don't need that myself.
What was that place that we had in Brookfield for a while? Tom and Chi?
Oh, yeah, they did like the tomato soup and grilled cheese thing.
Yeah, and it was fancy. I did go there. I thought, oh, this is kind of neat. I had a spicy one that was good. I was like, ooh, yeah.
Okay.
But that was like
Yeah, you
5
can
years
kick it
ago.
up a little bit. You need a good melting cheese. If you don't have a good melter, it's tough. Like I don't think cheddar's a great melting cheese, even though I love cheddar. It doesn't melt great.
Yeah.
Right? That makes it tough for a grilled cheese.
How are you cutting it for the kids?
So I usually cut it, I don't cut it diagonally because it's a little big for them, but now they're getting bigger, so maybe I can do that.
I do like the diagonal because then you can just like grab that little triangle on the end. It's just kind of nice.
I know.
Just that first little bite, that little triangle on the end when you cut it diagonally.
It's kind of like when the cheese falls out. That's good, right?
Our
Starts to get
producer-
on your plate.
Yeah. Our producer, Aaron Pelican, he's all about the grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, I'd use that like 80 a year, right? You're at a
I'd
pretty
say
high
80's
total.
about right.
80, yeah.
Oh.
That's fantastic. Good for you, man. And you're about to be married, so that number's going to go down.
The important part is putting a little Tabasco on top. That's
Okay.
the nice part.
Ooh,
All right,
yeah,
I am
see,
here
that
for
gives
it.
it some zing.
Happy
Spice.
National Grilled Cheese Day to one and all. Wisconsin's Midday News is out, spanning the state, coming up next.
I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do, you can't beat Burkhart. If you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service, you can't beat Burkhart.
At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
Big backyard.
The 1-1. Yelich hits it in the air in the left with some thump. Steer is back onto the track. He's at the fence looking up. Goodbye.
The Brewers take on the Orioles at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Our coverage of Game 1 begins tonight at 5:35 on your home of the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 101, it's 56 degrees, decreasing clouds today, windy with a high of 58, mostly clear tonight and a low of 40. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, I'm Greg Matzik. 3 charges, including first-degree intentional homicide, have been filed against Maxwell Anderson in connection to the death of teenager Sade Robinson.
In addition to homicide, Anderson is charged with mutilation of a corpse and arson of property other than building. Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball confirmed a severed leg found last week in Cudahy belonged to Robinson, though Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman added additional remains found in Milwaukee near 30th and Galena have still not been ID'd.
Please note we continue to search for additional evidence that has not been located.
Ball also reported no other victims are believed to be involved and that there is no ongoing danger to the public. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Well, we now know the identity of the man who was shot and killed by Waukesha police earlier this week, 50-year-old Christopher Malakovich. Officers arrived at the Waukesha CarMax Tuesday morning to investigate a theft. When they got there, they found Malakovich walking away. Police say he did not comply with orders when they tried to arrest him and that he was making overt actions consistent with pulling a firearm. That's when officers shot Malakovich. It was later determined he did not have a gun. 4 officers are on administrative leave while the case is being investigated. New voter maps signed into law this year by Governor Tony Evers have 20 paired incumbents in our state legislature now living outside the redrawn legislative boundaries.
WisPolitics' Jeff Mayers tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News we'll know by Monday's filing deadline which incumbents are willing to move into newly drawn districts to keep a seat in Madison.
Most of the incumbents paired together are Republicans.
This includes Republican freshman Angie Sapek representing far northwest Wisconsin, who is opting out.
When it comes to January, there's going to be a lot of freshmen, and then there's going to be narrower margins.
The deadline to file paperwork to run in November is Monday. Julia Fellow, WTMJ News.
We'll get those tickets to the main stage at Wisconsin State Fair. Tickets on sale for all of the main stage acts. Now that the final 3 headliners have been announced, TLC, Brothers Osborne, and Charlie Behrens join Young Gravy, Gabriel Iglesias, Casting Crowns, Riley Green, Lauren Daigle, Kids Bop Live, the Happy Together Tour, and Foreigner on the lineup. The State Fair runs August 1st through the 11th. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not great news to share. All the indices well in the red today. The Dow tumbling down below 38,000 at 37,934. That's down 524 points today, over 1%, nearly 1.5%. S&P 500 also down about 81 points today at 5117. The Nasdaq tumbling 287 points at 16,154. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
Carole King, one of the most beloved and successful songwriters of all time.
I feel the earth move under my feet.
The Fireside Theater presents Tony and Grammy Award-winning Beautiful, the Carole King musical. Her story from 18-year-old songwriter of Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow to writing hits for the biggest acts in music to the trailblazing success of her album Tapestry.
And it's too late, baby, now it's too late.
Beautiful features such unforgettable classics as Pleasant Valley Sunday, We Gotta Get Out of This Place, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, On Broadway, The Locomotion, and of course, Unnatural Woman.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
Every ticket to the Fireside includes memorable dining, spectacular gift shops, and free parking. Order your tickets now. Call 920-563-9505 or visit firesidetheater.com. Beautiful, the Carole King musical, through May 26th, only at the Fireside Theater.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Orioles tonight. Coverage gets underway at 5:40 on WTMJ. Milwaukee 8-3 on the season. Giannis out. Damian Lillard doubtful. The Bucks prepare for a contest against the Thunder tonight in Oklahoma City. Regular season wraps up Sunday in Orlando. Here tonight's game on 94.5 ESPN at 7 o'clock. And Bryson DeChambeau and Max Homa continue to be your leaders during round 2 of the Masters at 7 under par. Let's grab a look at your roads with a WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic update. Standard travel times, with the exception of 43 southbound, Brown Deer to downtown, normally an 11-minute ride. It'll run you 14 today. Another tap on the brakes here, 894 westbound, Mitchell to the Hale. That's a 7-minute ride today, normally about 5. Otherwise, you're experiencing smooth sailing.
Traffic is sponsored by the Delafield Brewhouse Restaurant and Brewery. Visit delafieldbrewhouse.com for daily specials.
Enjoy Naga Wicked Pale Ale Beer Battered Cod at the Delafield Brewhouse. Available Fridays for lunch and dinner. Dine in or take out ready. The Delafield Brewhouse. Drink ale, live lager.
Decreasing clouds today, windy with a high of 58. Clear tonight, a low of 40. Should be a beautiful weekend here. 68 your high inland on Saturday under sunny skies, 64 near the lake. Sunny and mild on Sunday, a high of 73 inland, 67 near the water. Right now in Madison, it's 58 degrees and sunny. Green Bay, 58 and partly sunny. Waukesha, 58, 60 in Milwaukee. I'm Greg Matzik. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:08.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
It's Brian Bry on a Friday.
Yes. I like it. I will get to, we'll see if we can float it past management, but until then we keep it going.
I'm going to keep doing it until they tell me not to.
Exactly.
How you doing this morning?
Well, I'm good. I'm, Greg is fixated on one of his stories of the strange. I have a feeling after talking to him during the news break, his weekend is going to be a deep dive into zombie cicadas and everything that goes with that. But so I'm a little concerned to start the program, but I'm feeling good. We got a big show today and some fun stuff, some serious stuff, and water. We were talking a lot about water yesterday. And today we've got to turn our attention toward mental health a little bit.
Well, yeah, because, there's certain things during COVID that we started doing as a society that just kind of made sense to keep doing, right?
Yeah, sure.
Zoom meetings still make sense.
Yeah.
Being able to do stuff from home and remote work. Giving people a little bit more space when you're in public.
Yeah, that
the
seems
6
to be.
feet was. I thought that was fine.
I loved it. I wish that people would pay more attention to it now.
Washing your hands after using the bathroom.
Overrated.
For a full 20 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
But there was one, because of the public health emergency, and there was an executive order that allowed during COVID people to see mental health providers who weren't licensed in Wisconsin.
Right.
So basically, as of right, before and right now, if you are going to see a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and you are a Wisconsin resident, that person needs to be licensed in Wisconsin. But for a short period of time during COVID, you could see someone who was licensed in a different state.
Sure, and it would be great to see people who are licensed in Wisconsin if there were enough people licensed in Wisconsin.
Yeah, because ultimately when you have a lot of people who now, are embracing getting help for depression and anxiety and
isolation. It was crazy during COVID.
Totally. And there's now a lot more like portals, like something like BetterHelp, which you probably have heard the ads for, as far as putting in your insurance, finding people who take that insurance, and then being able to be matched with someone who is a good fit for you. But we're back to not being able to do that, despite the fact that there was bipartisan legislation that was introduced this past session that Tony Evers did veto.
This is another one of those cases, and you've got more details on it, of course, but it's one of those common sense things that when you look at both sides of the aisle say, yeah, this is a good idea, and then it doesn't happen. And that I think, as a citizen, makes me the most frustrated. It makes sense on a very base level. We've got so many people in Wisconsin who need that kind of help. We have a lack of people in Wisconsin to give that help. Everybody, almost, except for a couple of professional groups, say this is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
What's the holdup?
Well, and I think there's sometimes the idea of perfection, aiming for perfection over progress. That can be
that's folly,
trying to figure out all of the different externalities of things that could go wrong versus providing a timely solution, especially when we talk about mental health, as far as it being, people need help now.
Yeah, that's one of the big things. The access to some sort of counselor, whether it's a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, you need it when you need it. You can't wait a month. And one of the governor's reasons for vetoing this bill was, well, I want to protect the citizens of Wisconsin against poor service, or, there needs to be some recourse for Wisconsin citizens if they're talking to a therapist and they get bad advice or whatever. But through this whole time, when it was okay to talk to people who weren't licensed in Wisconsin, there was almost no complaints.
Mm-hmm.
These companies are not going to hire just some schmo off the street, because then they're liable. So that kind of falls away. And this pursuit of perfection is, even that theory is just ridiculous.
So when we come back, I got a chance to talk with one of the people who's in our organization that was one of the big advocates for this legislation. We're going to talk more about the extent of the mental health crisis, especially with our young people in rural areas, but also what the bill would have done and how they're planning to attack it next legislative session.
And if you are in a position where you were seeing a therapist that was licensed out of state through one of these online portals, and now you can't, what do you think you are going to do to keep accessing the help that you need? 855-616-1620 is the WTMJ talk and text line. Let us know, because it is, if you fall into a groove and you know you need that help and you're getting it and then it's pulled away, to say that is not a good thing is a gross understatement. But you got to keep that help up.
All right, news time 1:13. This is Spanning the State.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and curbless, ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Now's the time to make those big spring purchases at Fleet Farm. Husqvarna mowers, Minn Kota trollers, Goodyear tires. Fleet Rewards credit card members can enjoy special financing for 3 full years on qualifying purchases. So don't wait. There's never been a better time to get everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm. 36-month special financing available on in-store purchases of $1,499 or more after discounts made with your Fleet Rewards credit card. Now through May 1st, 2024. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See customer service for details.
Hey, I'm Sandy Max, live in Dousman and Lake Country at Three Pillars for the groundbreaking of their new active adult community, The Fields at Three Pillars. And I am with Three Pillars Vice President of Community Services and Strategy, Josh Vandenberg. What a turnout, Josh. Tell us about this new community you're building.
Hey, thanks so much for coming out, Sandy. We appreciate it. We're excited. Nobody is building what we're building in the state right now. And we are breaking ground today on our active adult community of a new 110 residences, which is the first part of this long-term vision and project.
It's a gorgeous space, and there's a lot of history here.
There's a lot of history, and some of the buildings that we're keeping, our legacy buildings, we can trace back all the way to Elijah Edgerton and the original farm here.
We're learning a lot in this groundbreaking ceremony. The party's going to continue, and it is a gorgeous, sunny spring day in Dousman and Lake Country for a groundbreaking ceremony. Three Pillars keeps growing. You can be part of this community. Book your tour. Get your questions answered at the website, threepillars.org.
It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I'm Kristen Bry.
And you were saying you got to talk to someone.
Yeah. So before we were talking about the legislation that would have allowed out-of-state mental health care providers to treat Wisconsin residents. Despite the fact that Governor Evers vetoed it, supporters of that legislation said that they're still going to move forward and try to reintroduce it for the next legislative session. And I got a chance to talk to Alex Ignatowski from Institute for Reforming Government, which is a conservative advocacy group that was the primary supporter of the legislation. And so for the first thing that we talked about was the fact, just kind of getting a lay of the land of what the extent of our mental health crisis is in Wisconsin.
Most people in Wisconsin know is we're in crisis right now. The governor mentioned that 2023 was the year of mental health. It's something that needs to get solved. And it's like almost anything in the in the economy or anything right now, there's labor shortages in everything. Can't find enough providers in primary care. There's not enough providers in mental health for sure. So there's people that are suffering too. The number of folks that are dealing with anxiety, depression, substance abuse has all gone up since 2020. And then especially for the kids, teens, since 2010, 2011, those numbers have been on the rise, and there's different reasons for each of those different categories too.
And so, even more than just the young people, it's also, and this is primary care, this is OB care, this is so many different things when we talk about the access in more rural areas of Wisconsin, because this fact, as far as Buffalo County and the amount of licensed professionals in that county, blew me away.
We have a shortage across the state, but you go to Buffalo County has the starkest issue with a shortage. They have one provider for every 13,300 residents, and that is roughly the population of Buffalo County. So if you're there, you need access. They have mental health issues just like anybody else in an urban area. We need to make sure that they have access.
And we mentioned that in passing. That number is shocking.
Shocking.
It just like
one for every 13,300 people.
And then he said that's the whole population of Buffalo County. You've got one therapist, and you don't know what level of therapy that is. And if people need help, like sometimes if you call to try to make an appointment, it's a month. You don't have a month in some cases. In some cases, you have a day, maybe, if you're lucky.
Well, that was what he said as far as as an organization, their involvement came to light because of one of their interns.
We had a former intern that was dealing with some issues a couple of years ago, and the response he got back from the lab offices is, well, it's going to be weeks or months. I have a therapist in my family, my immediate family, and they book people out very far into the future, and it's tough to get an appointment. So one of the things that's available to most Wisconsinites is to go on websites like BetterHelp. I'm sure people have heard the advertisements either on podcasts or seen it, an ad pop up on their computer. But that you simply just go on the website, fill out a questionnaire, and then you get connected. The problem there is that you need to be a therapist or a counselor through that website. You need to be registered or need to be licensed in Wisconsin in order to see a Wisconsin patient.
Which is tough if you're already a therapist in Wisconsin. There's a good chance you have in-person appointments already. And if you're booking out months in advance, when are you going to have time to connect with someone online? So the problem keeps feeding off itself.
And so I think one of the big things that, again, we come back to is the fact that it worked during COVID.
Yes.
So why can't we just continue to do that? And so Alex spoke a little bit more about the history of the bill and what the bill would have done.
Yeah, the field of mental health has been changing a lot in the last couple of years, especially with COVID accelerating the use of virtual, meetings with a counselor or a therapist. But this concept itself, specifically the bill that we'll be talking about, came from the beginning of the pandemic when Governor Evers, through Emergency Order 16, essentially allowed for all healthcare providers that are licensed in other states to practice in Wisconsin to alleviate some of the shortages that we were having at the time. So in practice, what it does is it allows a licensed therapist from Illinois, from Michigan, from California, from Hawaii, you name it, any state, as long as they're licensed and in good standing, and let the client or patient know where they can file a complaint, and then also do a slight registration with the Department of Safety and Professional Services. They can practice via telehealth in Wisconsin.
So what's the problem?
So it's at least in the what Evers said as far as why he vetoed it was issues as far as what kind of protections people would have if they received poor quality or unethical treatment from a psychologist, therapist, or another provider that isn't licensed in Wisconsin.
But then we go back, and during the pandemic, there were no complaints.
Yeah.
It's so... Yeah, that sounds good from a political standpoint. Oh, I'm trying to protect the citizens of Wisconsin from unethical treatment. They weren't getting it before.
It's not like these are just Joe Schmoes. It's not like a bunch of uncredentialed life coaches. It's people who are actually licensed in their state.
So they're already licensed somewhere. I liked that, here is a channel for recourse if something goes wrong, which the bill would have had.
Mm-hmm.
Here is something else. Okay. The fact that, again, I can see sometimes when, if the Democrats put forth a bill and the Republicans say no or vice versa. You were talking to a conservative group. Mm-hmm. It was a bipartisan issue. The governor's got to get out of the way on some of this.
Well, and so some of the groups that were opposed to this is the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness Wisconsin, Wisconsin Association of Family and Children's Agencies, and a state chapter of National Association of Social Workers. And it sounds like there's some concern as far as how much it's the Wild West of online telehealth services, and also wanting to invest more in community availability for providers, which is, I don't know. I just come back to thinking that you can do both, because it does take time to train and license new and more providers. In the meantime, people need help now.
Well, and if you use that analogy, we tamed the Wild West. It can see.
The Wild West actually wasn't that many years.
That's true.
It's like we romanticize it. This is it was only like a decade.
Right. So, there's not, if you want to use that analogy, which I think is a poor analogy now, the internet has been around for a while, and this type of service has been around for a while. But if you're doing what the bill was supposed to do and setting up those parameters to curtail any bad behavior, you've already taken that wild out of the West.
Yeah. So the good news is they are going to try again in the next legislative session.
We plan on, again, bringing this up next session. We hope that we can get it going again. We will try to reach out to the Department of Safety and Professional Services. We'll try to reach out to Governor Evers and see what, if there's different ways to alleviate the concerns. Ultimately, we don't want a bill that's going to be watered down. We want a bill that's going to actually do the best and increase access the most to quality, providers for every Wisconsinite across the state. But we have to have those conversations with them, and we hope that the doors will be open and we'll be able to have those conversations.
Again, that was Alex Ignatowski from the Institute for Reforming Government, which was the conservative advocacy group that was a big supporter of this legislation.
Yeah, and if you're in this position where suddenly you're worried about how you're going to get your mental health help, give us a call. Tell us your story. 855-616-1620 is the WTMJ Talk and Text line.
And the news time is 1:25. This is Spanning the State.
Hot dog, get your hot dogs here. Hot and fresh hot dogs.
Hot diggity dog, it's baseball season. Wisconsin's Afternoon News has partnered up with Vienna Beef to bring you Brewers Ticket Tuesday.
Tune in every Tuesday during the 3 o'clock hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets for an upcoming Tuesday home game for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nothing says summer like a hot dog and baseball, and we've got both on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
On the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy, I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
The Mr. Fix-It Show this Saturday is sponsored by Aaron's. When purchasing lawn equipment from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment, you're well taken care of after the sale. Olson's knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and can handle all your tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. Stop in and say hi to Fawn, the guest this Saturday on the Fix-It Show, sponsored by Aaron's. That's Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment in Muskego, sponsored by Aaron's.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan. This telehealth bill is very interesting to me. My sister-in-law is in South Carolina, and she is a social worker. And she does online counseling as well, where she'll take virtual patients and things like that. And it seems to work. It's, I've always gone in person. But the other thing is with like BetterHelp or any of these services, if you don't like somebody, if you don't click with your therapist, which is really important, you can quickly change. Where if I've spent 3 months waiting to get in to see you, Dr. Bry, and you and I just don't click, and I'm like, oh, but now I can't really wait another 3 months to get in to see Dr. Matzik. I need help right now.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is the unique aspect of mental health providers is there's more nuance in approach, and if you click with that person versus your general, family practitioner who is like, oh, this is eczema, or this is
my
objectively, yes, this is a little bit more straightforward diagnosis, and still you may not like their bedside manner, and so you want someone else. But when you're talking through stuff, it's pretty important that you trust
your therapist. You feel comfortable, it's safe.
You feel like you're making the progress that you want to be making. And if you feel like, as you just said, Brian, the fact that you waited so long to see this person, are you really going to join another wait list for a different doctor or therapist? Or are you just going to keep
gutting it out with this person because you're in? At least, the mindset might become, well, at least I've got somebody to talk to. Am I going to open up and share everything? I don't know, but am I going to wait again?
Maybe not. All right. Well, when we come back, we got a lot of golf coming up today.
Yeah,
we're going to talk to Greg Matzik about the Mac Fun, and then later in the show, 10 golf courses in 40 hours.
That sounds about right.
Sounds like I'm sore. News is next.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Israel, a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas remains stalled, and the threat of an attack by Iranian proxies in the north is increasing. The U.S. beefing up military assets in the zone of conflict. ABC's Ann Flaherty has more.
With tensions in the Middle East at an all-time high, the U.S. military is now moving additional troops and assets to the region. U.S. officials tell ABC News the goal will be to try to deter Iran and to protect troops in the region. According to 2 U.S. officials, Iran has readied more than 100 cruise missiles for a potential strike. Ann Flaherty, ABC News, the Pentagon.
The former interpreter for Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani has surrendered to federal authorities in Los Angeles. Ippei Mitsuhara is charged with bank fraud in a gambling scheme, authorities say, that allowed him to steal $16 million from Ohtani's bank account. Lingering storms on the East Coast after a week of heavy rain, wind, and tornadoes across much of the country. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31. Charges of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and arson of property other than building filed against Maxwell Anderson in connection to the death and dismemberment of teenager Sade Robinson. Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball confirms a severed leg found last week at Warnemont Park in Cudahy belonged to Robinson, though Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman added additional remains found in Milwaukee near 30th and Galena have still not been identified. A sculpture honoring Vel Phillips will be unveiled at the state capitol in June. It'll be the first statue of the black leader or any person of color on the grounds of the state's capitol. The late artist Radcliffe Bailey created the sculpture. And Luke Combs performing at American Family Field tonight and tomorrow. 2 nights of shows at AmFam. You can expect some congestion around the ballpark starting about 3 o'clock. That's when the parking opens on both nights. For those parking at the stadium, the Brewers are reminding folks that last year's method, actually paying cashiers at the entrances, will be in effect. You can either purchase online or ahead of time or pay using a credit card at the lot entrance. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow currently down 530 points at 37,929. S&P 500 is down 81.5 points at 5117. The Nasdaq also lagging today, down 284 points at 16,159. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Check out annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today. Time for a look at your roads, a WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic update. For the most part, standard travel times across the system. Things will likely pick up around 3 o'clock near the interchange when the parking lot's open for that Luke Combs concert. 43 southbound, Brown Deer to downtown. That's your heading spot on the roads today. About a 4-minute delay on top of the construction. It's about a 15-minute ride. 894 westbound from the Mitchell to the Hale. That's going to be 2-minute delay. That'll run you 8 this afternoon. Windy this afternoon with a high of about 60 degrees. Mostly clear tonight with a low of 40. Should be a beautiful Saturday. A chance for rain late at night. Otherwise 70 inland, 66 near the lake. Mostly sunny and mild. Right now it is 58 degrees and partly cloudy in Madison. 57 degrees and cloudy in Green Bay. 58 in Waukesha. 60 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Hey, it's Fish Fry Friday at the Mine Shaft Restaurant. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The family-owned Mine Shaft in Hartford has just lowered their fish fry to, listen closely, $4.99 when you dine in. Don't pay $15 to $18. Your Mine Shaft fish fry is $4.99. Relax with a delicious old-fashioned, a Manhattan, an ice-cold beer, a glass of wine for a perfect fish fry. The kids' menu starts at $3.99. They'll love that world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area. It's great for you, too. They play while you finish up. The Mine Shaft's Wednesday and Friday fish fry is now $4.99. Wow. That's amazing. The all-you-can-eat Sunday brunch is only $14.99. The Sunday chicken dinner or a half rack of ribs, under $10. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and right off the interstate in Oshkosh. Stop for your $4.99 dine-in only Friday fish fry. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
There are surgeons lining up to be the one to do your joint replacement. But my advice? Exhaust all your options and put off joint replacement as long as you can. Make it your very last resort, because life after joint replacement isn't always what it's cracked up to be. As high as 30% of patients who have undergone joint replacement surgery report unsatisfactory results. And the cost, even with insurance, can be extraordinary. At Rejuvenex, we'll help ease your pain and improve your mobility with FDA-approved pharmacological treatments that precisely target where your pain lives. And by easing your pain and inflammation, we'll help you live a better life. And because we're in network with most major insurance plans, your out-of-pocket expense could be very affordable. Or nothing at all. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Therapeutics. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan. Are you a golfer, Kristen Bry?
I know how to golf.
Okay.
I would like to be better at golf.
Takes time, though. It's a big time commitment.
Yes, it is.
To get better, you have to
get better, but also to play.
To play, it's like 4 hours. Unless you're Greg Matzik, then you could do, 18 holes in a minute and a half.
Go.
Greg is here because once again you are doing a very special thing for the Mac Foundation. For the uninitiated who haven't heard why you grew your hair out last year and every other year that you've been doing this, what's the Mac Foundation?
Well, that didn't go very well, by the way.
Hair?
Yeah, growing of the hair back. Yeah, it was kind of a tennis ball chia pet thing happening. And it wasn't striking.
Wasn't impressed?
I wore a hat to many outdoor functions for the course of that month. But nonetheless, no, we did end up raising enough money where I was able to grow my hair back, or at least try. So the Mac Fund, you know the Mac Fund, right? Midwest Athletes Against Childhood Cancer, just an incredible organization. And the fight against pediatric cancer never stops. It is always surging forward. Even through advancements and breakthroughs, it is still cancer one step ahead, it feels like, and maybe several steps ahead. And so the Mac Fund has a variety of events throughout the course of the year in the state of Wisconsin. And it's almost like every day in the calendar there's something with the Mac Fund. But a few years ago, they developed this idea called the Ringer event. Mike Bolowski is one of the development directors of the Mac Fund, and he's an avid golfer.
Okay.
And he came up with this idea of recruiting, 20 people in the area to come out to the Bog Golf Course in Saukville. They close down the course for the day to those who are participating. And the idea is to play 100 holes of golf in the day and use fundraising mechanism as your vehicle to get you on the course. So this is the 6th year, I think, overall. It's been happening in the state of Wisconsin. This is my 4th year participating. And overall, they have achieved over $1 million raised with this event alone, which is amazing. And we'll see what the totals end up being for this particular year. So Gabe Neitzel and I are participating. We're joining forces in our fundraising efforts together.
Nice.
Gabe of ESPN Milwaukee and the powers of WTMJ and our listeners and fans, and trying to raise as much money as possible.
Where are you at so far?
So we're at $10,900, which is amazing.
Not
because,
too shabby.
What was the goal?
So we still have a goal of getting to 20,000.
Okay.
And
So just over half.
when we started our active promotion this week, we were at about 4,100. So that just gives you an indication how fast things have developed. And we're near the point where we're going to trigger a $5,000 match. So if we can get to that 12,500 mark, we do have a $5,000 match coming in. So that is amazing. And that's coming from Paintings for Pediatrics. This is an initiative that those with cancer, children with cancer, they create artwork. And
beautiful.
The children's artwork is then auctioned off at cancer fundraising events. So pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. How long does this take you to play 100 holes?
About 12 hours. It's we tee off, a little light of that. So we tee off about 7:45 in the morning, unless there's a frost delay. We hope for good weather, that's for sure. And then we're usually wrapping things up somewhere in the 7 o'clock hour at
Do you
night.
stop between rounds, or you just 100?
No, you're cruising, man. Like, there's not a lot of time. It's Gabe's in one golf cart, I'm in a separate golf cart, and we tee off together, and then it's like, we'll see you on the green.
Okay.
You're not sweating out bogey putts, although some have agreed to donate X amount of dollars per birdie. So
Okay.
You're trying to get birdies and pars. Like, that's
I
good.
was like, what's the average par on the course that you're playing?
Yeah, so it's standard course, right? There's 4 par 3s, there's 4 par 5s, and the rest are par 4s. So you're scooting along, right? You're not wasting a lot of time.
So does everyone have to be a pretty good golfer just so you don't slow everyone down?
That's what I was going to say.
Yes and no, because you're not spending a lot of time looking for your ball.
Okay.
But the more your ball is in the fairway, the easier it is to kind of be efficient and follow that line to the hole, which is good. So, I think all those who are out there playing are pretty avid golfers. If you're going to commit to 100 holes in a day.
Yeah. Do you keep score?
Probably don't want to be a first-timer. Birdies and pars.
Just
That's
birdies
essentially
and
what I
pars.
keep is birdies
Okay.
and pars, because there really is nothing more than a bogey on the scorecard.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, where can people get more information?
Yeah, so we try to make it really easy for people. If this moves you in any way, the idea of supporting childhood cancer, through the MAC Fund. You can text the word golf to 855-616-1620. We just set up a simple text-in word golf to 855-616-1620. But then our friends at Screamin' Sicilian are also kind of playing along with us.
Nice.
So we're trying to maybe up the ante for you if you want to participate here and support the cause. If you donate $25, between $25 and $49, we'll get you an entry to free Screamin' Sicilian Palermo's Pizza for a year.
Whoa.
What is that?
For a year.
What is, like one a day?
That is 24 frozen pizza coupons.
Okay.
They don't expire until late in 2025. You get a nice, very nice stainless steel pizza oven.
Nice.
And all sorts of Screamin' Sicilian swag. And it's about a $375 value.
All right.
So if you donate $25, you'll get an entry to win free pizza for a year and this cool prize pack. If you donate $50 or more, we'll get 3 entries. If you donate
nice.
$50 or more. So please fill out all the information on the donation page so we know how to get in contact with you if you've won.
Yes.
But 3 people will be winning free pizza for a year and a pizza oven and all sorts of cool swag.
Right.
If people
Twist
can
my
people
arm.
watch, can people come out and watch the Ringer, or is this
the course
closed?
it's closed.
Okay.
The course is closed for the day for us. But we will have frequent updates throughout the course of the day here. I know on WTMJ
Good.
it's April 25th. So our donation window is between now and April 25th. And again, text the word golf to 855-616-1620. And we'll send you the information. Our landing page will go right to your mobile device. We'll make it very easy for you. You could win free pizza for
That's
a year
great.
and support a great cause.
And I've already been very honest about my ability to house an entire frozen pizza on my own.
right
no
on.
problem.
Those are good days, aren't they?
Great days.
Your thoughts
Those are
on
good days.
knickers before we let you go?
I have worn them. I don't feel the need to wear them again.
Okay, fair enough. Greg Matzik, you can text golf to 855-616-1620. Help Greg and Gabe raise money for the MAC Fund. The big Ringer is happening April 25th. Good luck. Where are we now? So we give people that thing again?
We are at $10,900, and if we can get to $12,500, we'll trigger a match of $5,000 additional dollars.
Come on, we can do it before the weekend's over.
Thanks so
guys.
much.
Thanks, Greg.
News time at 1:43. This is Spanning the State.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhardt Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritware is vital. That's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritwear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhardt.
You can't beat Burkhardt. Hey, boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com. At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
The Original Botanas Restaurant. Delectable entrees, 50 top shelf tequilas, 20 different margarita flavors. Stop by for lunch or before or after the big game. The Original Botanas on 5th Street.
Casa es su casa. That's Botanas.
Hey, I'm Sandy. Max live on a springy, sunny, breezy day in Dousman in Lake Country at Three Pillars for the groundbreaking of their new active adult community, The Fields at Three Pillars. And I'm with Mark Stroutman, President and CEO of Three Pillars. You just had to put down your shovel to come in here. Tell us about the new community you're building and this groundbreaking ceremony.
Yeah, thanks, Sandy. You're right. We just dug some dirt.
Gold shovels and everything,
Yeah,
and bagpipers to bring music to the ceremony.
Yeah, the III Highlanders, bagpipers, added a little extra class to the event, I think.
And what's unique about the Fields at Three Pillars?
Yeah, so the Fields is really an extension of what we've been doing here for 100 years. And it's a focus on this active adult lifestyle. And we're just so excited that it's a new concept in southeast Wisconsin that we're aware of, and the response has been fantastic.
And Three Pillars is already the best rated senior living community in Wisconsin. So you're expanding on that legacy. So thank you so much. Keep celebrating the groundbreaking, Mark. And if you want to find out more, get your questions answered, and book your tour, go to threepillars.org.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan, and some of you probably know, many of you, that Hank Aaron played baseball in Eau Claire during high school. But he's not the only famous person to come from the Chippewa Valley. Epi Lederer and Pauline Phillips were Eau Claire residents as well. Kristen, do you know who they are?
No.
You may know them by their nom de plumes, Ann Landers and Abigail Van Buren, or Dear Abby.
I do know that name. Those
see,
names.
we know those names. Well, they didn't grow up in Eau Claire, but they moved there, and that was where their professional life began. And a man who has been chronicling that and so many other Wisconsin stories. He is a freelance writer. He is a children's book author, and he is with us today. Dean Robbins is here. Hi, Dean.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. So we've all heard people of a certain age. I'm sure Rhea has no idea who Dear Abby or Ann Landers are. But if you're of a certain age, you know, I remember reading their columns all the time. When did they move to Eau Claire, and what brought them from Iowa to Eau Claire?
Well, they followed their husbands. So they got married. They were identical twins, and they grew up doing everything together, dressing the same way. They got married in identical wedding dresses and a joint ceremony. And then their husbands moved to Eau Claire to be part of this appliance company. And so they spent 10 years there. They were basically housewives. They didn't have jobs, but they volunteered. They were kind of high society figures, and they cut a big swath through the community. It wasn't until they left Eau Claire about 10 years later, it was right after they moved in about 1955, that Epi, who we'll call Ann Landers, got the idea that she might be able to do a better job with an advice column than the Chicago Sun-Times was currently doing. And she gave them a call and said, could I give this a try? They happened to be looking for a replacement at that time, so she joined a whole bunch of other people in doing some sample columns. And they chose her because she was kind of amazing. She had this fresh, direct, funny voice.
Well,
at the same time, her sister had also moved out of Eau Claire. She was living in San Francisco, and Ann asked, who we'll call Abby, to help her answer some of these letters, which she did for about 3 months. And then Abby got the idea that she would want to do this herself, and she applied for the same job at the San Francisco Chronicle and got the job. And so that's how Dear Abby and Ann Landers were born.
I like the hubris of being like, I think I'd be good at this. I'm just like, I think I'd be really good at giving people advice.
Yes, and then when your sister does it, you go, I'm smarter than her. I can give better advice than my sister. They did not always get along. You mentioned that in Eau Claire they were big in the social circles. They hosted parties, but things got a little touchy there, didn't it?
Yeah, they were really close, just like a lot of siblings are, and especially identical twins. But some cracks were starting to form while they were in Eau Claire. They both had daughters, and they kind of started sniping at each other's daughters. And Abby's husband was very wealthy. He was a big shot at this company, and Ann's husband was not, so he was lower on the rung. So Ann lived in a very small house that Abby called Peanut Place.
Ooh.
So that didn't go over too well.
Wow.
And Abby lived in kind of a sprawling mansion. So, resentments were building up. And then when Anne moved to Chicago and started her advice column, she felt like she had kind of made her way and had separated herself a little bit from Abby and distinguished herself. Well, when Abby started her own column a few months later, she was furious, and she didn't know that it was happening. So that started the feud, and they basically didn't speak for 10 years.
But did they end up reconciling?
They reconciled. It was a while. It took 8 or 10 years. And they reconciled, and they basically were friendly for the rest of their lives. But the resentments remained, and they would occasionally snipe at each other in public. They were huge rivals with their columns. Abby had 110 million readers, if you can imagine that, in today's media world. Anne had 90 million readers, and so they were constantly competing for readers. Yeah.
You think about it now as far as some of the biggest celebrities and how many Instagram followers they have. And, if you had 100 million Instagram followers, you'd be one of the top celebrities on the platform.
This is like, beyond the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. They were huge cultural figures. So they were rivals, and they would snipe at each other. Even by the end of their lives, in interviews, Anne was saying that she never read Dear Abby, and Abby said that her sister looked old and that she was kind of envious and inferior. So it never quite got to where it was in their glory days in Eau Claire.
Well, if people want to read more of this is going to be included in a book that you're releasing next year about all sorts of Wisconsin stories. Can you give us a real quick preview?
Yeah, still working on the title of it. It's in the editing process right now. I think it's going to be called Wisconsin Idols, and it's from the Wisconsin Historical Society Press. And it's about heroes who either lived in Wisconsin for a time or who had a significant experience just passing through. So it's a very personal kind of book. It's all people who really inspire me. And there's some people you wouldn't expect to be in a book about Wisconsin. Elvis Presley's in there, Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Duke Ellington, Jackie Robinson. They all had interesting, little-known experiences in Wisconsin that were kind of significant.
Very cool. Well, we'll definitely have you on when the book comes out. If people want to see your children's books, they can go to deanrobbins.net, learn all about you, learn all about those books. And Dean, we look forward to talking to you again. Have a great weekend.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
Sure.
News Time 153. This is Spanning the State.
CertaPro painters know how important your home is to you. I know how good a job they do because CertaPro painters did our house. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It was professional, it was easy, it was quick, and it was efficient. And so affordable. It's CertaPro painters. They get the job done right, even those hard-to-reach places they will knock out of the ballpark. Free estimates, reliable communication, professional painting, all at the right price. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro painters. Choose the team we went with, CertaPro painters.
A Brewers Group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Birthday parties, anniversaries, or bachelor parties. You can count on the Brewers to host. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite spot at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
Now's the time to make those big spring purchases at Fleet Farm. Husqvarna mowers, Minn Kota trollers, Goodyear tires. Fleet Rewards credit card members can enjoy special financing for 3 full years on qualifying purchases. So don't wait. There's never been a better time to get everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm. 36-month special financing available on in-store purchases of $1,499 or more after discounts made with your Fleet Rewards credit card. Now through May 1st, 2024. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See customer service for details.
You just can't pass on Less is Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Vince Vitrano for Connect Chiropractic. Dr. Alex and his team have my neck, back, and shoulder feeling so much better. One of my fellow patients, Missy, said she actually went in with a slight limp a year ago. That's now gone. I met Tom in the lobby the other day. Said he came in to Connect Chiro after another doc wasn't helping him feel better. Now he's found his home for chiropractic care. You're invited. Open house Wednesday, April 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the office in Wauwatosa. Meet the doc, see the place, and learn how chiropractic care can help you. Go Connect Chiro. That's goconnectchiro.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
What makes Hassleus mattress different?
Aside from employee-free showrooms, free next-day delivery and haul-away, and way too low prices on Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and Serta Perfect Sleeper?
Yeah, besides that.
Well, Hassleus is locally owned.
You mean your franchise is locally owned?
We're not a franchise. Every showroom is owned and managed by the same family. So, when you shop at Hassleus, your money stays right here. And through Monday, our family wants to give you a $200 credit towards a new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and Serta Perfect Sleeper just for shopping local.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Our 43 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
I like that.
Try and buy with no pushy sales guy.
I love that.
Free next day delivery too.
Thanks.
For what?
For being different.
Shop local and enjoy a $200 credit through Monday at Hassleus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find a no-hassle, employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassleus.com.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan. We're going to spin again.
We're going to
after
spin.
The news. I had fun doing it yesterday.
I also had fun.
So we've already upped the production value of spinning the state. It's listen. If you were like, oh, I liked it yesterday, you're gonna like it even better.
It's going to get better.
Today.
Every time we do it, it's going to get better. And then
crazy.
we're also going to be talking a little bit about your last night on WTMJ at night.
Oh.
And then we have some more golf conversation.
More golf.
This time we're going to be going to the top 10 golf courses in Wisconsin, ranked nationally. And there's 2 guys who played all 10 of them in less than 40 hours.
Yeah, you thought Greg Matzek playing 100 holes in a day was crazy? Sit back.
Because they had to add driving in there, too.
Yeah.
All right, news is next. This is Spanning the State.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Again, mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May, score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries, 5 times the entries on drawing days, and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit paysbig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
I'm excited to be joined by my friend Jill Kreider. She is the president of Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Tell me kind of about the mission of Azura.
Our mission is to transform the culture of care, have a secure place, live a quality of life that maybe they don't have currently.
When I'm at an Azura facility, it feels like home.
Having team members that really care about people is number one.
Thank you for what you do for our community. Thank you for what you do for the people that live in the community.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch. Big backyard.
The 1-1. Yelich hits it in the air in the left with some thump. Steer is back onto the track. He's at the fence looking up. Goodbye.
The Brewers take on the Orioles at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Our coverage of Game 1 begins tonight at 5:35 on your home of the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 2:01 and 62 degrees in Milwaukee, windy as well. I'm Jessica Ty. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a 33-year-old Milwaukee man is now charged with murder after a human leg was found in Warnemont Park.
Sade Robinson, 19 years old, had been considered missing, but now investigators confirm it was her leg found in Cudahy last week. And prosecutors are charging a man named Maxwell Anderson with Robinson's murder. Sheriff Danita Ball calls it a heinous crime, but there are still many questions. What was the motive, and how was Robinson murdered? Ball did not confirm. However, she did say that Robinson, as of now, is the only missing person that's linked to this case.
We have looked at other parts of the investigation to see if there are any others that could be linked, and so far there hasn't been any evidence that there is any.
Anderson faces a homicide charge as well as mutilation of a corpse and arson charges. He and his lawyer were in court this morning. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
A sculpture honoring Val Phillips will be unveiled at the state capitol in June. This will be the first statue of a black leader or any person of color on the grounds of the state capitol. Phillips made history as the first black American and woman elected to statewide office in Wisconsin. She served as the 29th Secretary of State. She was also the first black woman to graduate from the University of Wisconsin Law School, the first black person and woman elected to the Milwaukee Common Council, and the first black judge in Wisconsin. The late artist Radcliffe Bailey created that sculpture. An American classic in Greenfield this morning.
At 24 hot dogs high and 60 hot dogs long, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile will make appearances across southeastern Wisconsin this weekend. Jerry Muzinski couldn't quite explain the phenomenon around the car.
Even just being a driver, I can't imagine having that job. That is so cool.
Ann Kerr works on the Wienermobile, her official title, Hot Dogger.
I got to cruise the Pacific Coast Highway. I got to go to Puerto Rico with the Wienermobile, and now we are back in my home state. I grew up in Madison.
And for Abby Clements, she sees possibilities.
It's just so beautiful. It's bigger than I thought it would be. I'm trying to figure out how I can rent it for a party bus.
Wishing I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Got to give Jack credit for that one at the end there, right? Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not a good day on Wall Street. The Dow is down 560 points to 37,898. S&P 500 is down 88 points to 5,111. And the NASDAQ is down a little more than 305 points to 16,136. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button. Sports, traffic, and weather at X. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:04.
A Friday fish fry is a great Wisconsin and family tradition. I recommend the fish fry at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's all you care to eat, and it's one of the best. All other dinners this weekend are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye, the pecan-crusted salmon, any seafood, steak and lobster, prime rib on Saturday, buy one, get one free. Desserts and that huge ice cream drink selection, buy one, get one free. I love it all. After a long week, relax with a hand-muddled old-fashioned. 20 bourbons and 100 wines in one of the 8 elegant dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the historic Holy Hill Shrine. The Spring Drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is a Wisconsin must-see. And you'll love the award-winning all-you-care-to-eat Sunday brunch. Delicious. Step away from your kitchen. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Enjoy a cocktail and a free dinner this weekend. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Stay and play in Lake Geneva, the Midwest's premier golf destination. With 10 challenging courses for all abilities and skill levels, breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Enjoy an all-inclusive golf getaway with luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. For course information and more, go to visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for legendary golf.
Outdoor living is great, but it's best when it's at your own home. Well, there's a company called Outdoor Living Unlimited that will build you a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, all manner of things to enhance outdoor living at your place, even an outdoor kitchen. Get started right away. Contact Outdoor Living Unlimited now. Get your yard project onto Outdoor Living Unlimited's calendar while there's still openings. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers begin a 3-game series against the Orioles tonight in Baltimore. Coverage begins at 5:40 right here on WTMJ. Milwaukee is 8-3 in the season at this point. Giannis is out, and Damian Lillard is doubtful for tonight's road game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Bucks' regular season wraps up Sunday in Orlando. Hear tonight's game on 94.5 ESPN at 7 o'clock. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. There is a crash I want to let you know about. 4145 South at Burleigh Street. The right shoulder is blocked due to a crash. And some of our construction zones are seeing delays that are a little bit more than usual, maybe because it's Friday and people want to get out of town. I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown. That is a 7-minute delay right now. That's significant. Also, 894 westbound, the Mitchell Interchange to the Hale Interchange. That's a 3-minute delay and a 2-minute delay, 894 southbound, the Zoo Interchange to the Hale Interchange.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Hurt at work? Call Tayback for the payback. An injury at work may leave you eligible for compensation benefits, including lost wages, coverage of medical bills, or a cash settlement. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Here's your Storm Team 4 5-day forecast. Tonight, expect mostly clear skies at a low temp of 40. Tomorrow, it's going to be great. Mostly sunny with a high of 64 by the lake, 67 inland. There is a chance for an isolated shower at night, but we'll see about that. Sunday looks fantastic, too. Mostly sunny and mild, high of 67 by the lake, 73 inland. Then looking ahead to the start of the new week, Monday, partly cloudy and mild, high of 64 by the lake, inland 70. Tuesday, we'll have some thunderstorms, a high of 66 by the lake, 69 inland. Right now, it's 59 degrees in Madison, 58 in Green Bay, and 62 in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Sunny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:08.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Welcome back to the 2 o'clock hour, and for the second day in a row, we are going to spin around the state on Spanning the State.
Spinning the state on Spanning the State. Here we go.
And so, just a reminder, this is when we spin a wheel.
Right.
It lands on a city, and we give you a headline from that city.
Correct.
All right, so let's see where we are going first.
La Crosse.
La Crosse. All right. So in La Crosse, rival high school show choirs set to combine as Logan Central teams merge to combat declining numbers. This feels like a story straight out of a plot line of Glee.
I was going to say yes.
But yes, 2 of Wisconsin's oldest and most storied show choir programs will combine at the end of this current school year. So La Crosse Central High School, Grand Central Station, and Logan High School, the class act, will come together and become one super team.
That is incredible. That is a vocal powerhouse in La Crosse.
All right, moving on.
Beaver Dam.
Oh, Beaver Dam, a story that I love because sometimes, let's be honest, we like dogs more than we like people.
Mm-hmm.
Beaver Dam Canine Yeti is retiring with 232 arrests to his credit. Yeti has been on the force for a while. He is retiring for 2 reasons. One, his age. He's about to turn 10. And 2, his handler has been promoted to detective. Kevin Hall is the officer that Yeti worked with, so now he won't be able to use Yeti in the field, but he has adopted him, and Yeti will be going home. Officer Hall recalls the first arrest Yeti ever made. It was a traffic stop. The driver decided he was going to get out of the car and run. Then he saw Yeti and decided it was time to give up. So Yeti has made 232 arrests. He has performed 10 successful tracks over 8.5 miles. He sniffed out a total of 15 pounds of narcotics, and he has been credited with 28 apprehensions. Yeti, we thank you for your service, and hopefully there's a lot of kibble and belly rubs in your retirement.
Moving on. Beloit. The city of Beloit to begin No Mo May registrations.
So are they April, June? They're taking May out off the calendar?
Well, no. Have you not heard of No Mo May before? So this is a movement to support the presence of pollinators. Ooh. So in Milwaukee and Madison, this is a growing movement as far as not mowing your lawn in May, but you have to have a sign in your lawn because of HOAs and all of those different things. There's some people, I know we work with some people who are not big fans of this movement.
Of No Mo May. That sounds great because we've been hearing for years about the bee problem. So this is great.
So now the city of Beloit City Council approved this ordinance. So now if you are in Beloit, you can register and join the movement.
And gentlemen or ladies, whoever cuts the grass in your house, kick back and go, hey, I'll see you in June.
Take the month off.
That's right.
All right, final one.
Appleton, Wisconsin. This is a big story for all the children around Wisconsin. Wisconsin sees its first International Santa Claus Hall of Fame inductee, and he is, in fact, from Appleton. A Wisconsin Santa Claus is going to be inducted into the International Santa Claus Hall of Fame. He's the first Santa from Wisconsin. Jeff McMullen from Appleton, perhaps better known as Santa Mac, is going to receive this honor after 3 decades of service in the Big Red Suit. Hall of Fame candidates must win the favor of 15 judges who evaluate Santa and Mrs. Claus figures across the country based on community, service, career, originality, and more. McMullen's the man. He opened Santa's Magical Christmas Cottage in Buchanan, and that was in 22. And he is the embodiment of Santa.
And looking at this picture, not a fake beard.
No. He's
very real beard.
He looks great. He sounds great. He makes the children feel great. So I guess another person that we must thank for their service, Santa Mac, thank you for your service.
And that has been Spinning the State on Spanning the State. I like this one.
I do too.
All right,
See,
we'll do it again on Monday.
Stuff.
All right, news time 2:13. This is Spanning the State.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our Retirement Ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Hey, John Mercure here for Floor Coverings International. They just did the flooring in our house, and it is stunning. Carpet, luxury vinyl plank, in and out quickly. They rolled up with that mobile flooring showroom. Incredible. Came in, walked us through everything. The installation was quick and easy, and it is absolutely gorgeous. FCI, the stars of flooring. Each Floor Covering International business is independently owned and operated. They are the real deal. Go to FCIFloors.com for a free consultation. They'll transform your home. FCIFloors.com.
I'm Sandy Max at quite the social occasion. Live in Dousman in Lake Country, it's the Three Pillars groundbreaking of their new active adult community, The Fields at Three Pillars. And I am with one of the hosts of this occasion, Three Pillars Vice President of Community Services and Strategy, Josh Vandenberg. And Josh, there are a lot of current residents here to celebrate this expansion.
Yeah, Sandy, thanks. Yeah, it's super exciting to see not only our residents come out and celebrate this sense of community that they've built, but future residents as well. So they've helped turn some dirt and talk about all the things that they're excited about seeing as this comes to life.
I just met Mike and Alice from Austin, who are going to be moving in 2025 here at Three Pillars.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I think each resident that you talk to is excited about the different things that are going on, whether that's supper clubs, pubs, wellness, any of those things. So we can't wait for this to get going.
The spa and the great outdoors. Book your tour at Three Pillars. Go to the website, threepillars.org.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristen Bry. And Brian, did you see that almost 9 out of 10 pounds of Great Lakes beach litter each year is plastic?
I saw that. It did not surprise me. One thing that did surprise me was because when you say that, most of us will think, oh, it's like water bottles and plastic cups and things like that, or industrial plastic. It's very, very tiny.
Yeah, smaller than a quarter.
Yeah, they said most of it is like the width of a hair. That's how, when the plastics start breaking down. So, oh, this water is so clear and pure, and no.
Yeah, so
swimming in plastic.
It was a report by the Alliance for the Great Lakes, and it was based on 20 years of data collected from more than 14,000 beach cleanups. And what was interesting is that over time, it shifted from being predominantly like cigarette butts and other kind of items that you think of people leaving on the beach, and now it's all this tiny trash.
Ugh. That's cigarette butts always bothered me. What kind of animal puts their cigarette out on a beach?
Well, and that's the thing. Who litters?
I don't know. I'm always amazed when I see litter on the side of the road or somewhere. Who does this? There's garbage cans pretty much everywhere except our offices.
Well,
but other places there are garbage cans.
Well, and that's just, I feel like I grew up in the time of, there was all these PSAs and campaigns to say, do not litter. And so I feel like it was branded in my brain that you throw things away.
It was all about ecology and all about Earth Day and people trying, and there were commercials. Everybody was trying to keep the planet clean, and now there's still people who will just drop their McDonald's bag out the window of their cars.
And I was trying to think as far as are there still ads that run as far as like don't litter?
No, the only one I still see is like Smokey the Bear or Smokey Bear.
Yeah, so that's forest fires.
Forest fires. I don't think I see any. Well, they probably figure people are not, weren't born in a barn. No offense to people who were born in a barn, but that they're just not littering anymore.
But then I was thinking of some of the more famous anti-littering campaigns.
There are some, and I reference this one a lot. I reference the Crying Indian. That's the name of that's the name of the campaign. And I know now some people think it's
offensive.
But the only thing that's offensive is Jay Silverheels, the man who played the Indian Native American in the commercial, was Italian. That part I could go, okay, but it's the 70s, and I watched it again today. I don't believe I have any sort of implicit bias against Native Americans. This was a Native American canoeing down a pristine river, and then all of a sudden there was garbage everywhere, and he was standing on the side of the road, and people literally threw a bag of trash that hit him in the shoes, and the one big tear.
The one tear.
The one big tear.
Well, do you remember Woodsy the Owl?
Oh, I gave a hoot. I do not pollute.
Remember this?
I'm Woodsy Owl, and I'm here to tell you about a dirty word, pollution. Help Woodsy spread the word.
Never be a dirty bird.
Hoo-hoo. Don't paint or write on buildings. That's pollution.
Give a hoot. Don't pollute. Never be a dirty bird.
Hoo-hoo. Turn your radio down. That's noise pollution.
In the city or
not now. Leave your radio up.
Help keep America looking good.
Listening to that
I think we got to bring that back.
Yeah, but radio and graffiti. Okay, the radio. Stop. Leave your radio up, especially if you're listening here. They didn't really talk about. Come on, Woodsy, get with the program. We need some throwing away plastic bottles and all that stuff.
Because every year, 22 million pounds of plastic winds up in the Great Lakes. So I feel like this is my call that we need to bring back either Woodsy or the Crying Indian or something to start teaching people.
Woodsy?
A Crying Woodsy. Stop throwing your litter into the lakes.
Well, see, because we focus a lot, we hear a lot about plastics in the ocean, and that's a big thing. And the dolphins are choking on things, and the whales are vomiting up kegs that were thrown in. We hear all that, but the pollution in the lakes has gotten worse and worse. So it is time to focus.
Bring back Woodsy.
Yeah.
But this is also a good time to remind you, the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is tomorrow.
There you go. He gives a hoot.
He gives a hoot.
Tory
I give a hoot. I'm going to be there with my husband, my baby. We got partners. We got teammates.
Nice.
We got a whole bunch of people coming out, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow. If you would like to join us, text CLEAN to 855-616-1620 to get more information to sign up. One call, that's all. We got our Gruber T-shirts. We're all going to be out there in the community picking up and doing our part to make sure that 22 million pounds of plastic doesn't end up in the Great Lakes.
That sounds like a good deal.
All right. So text CLEAN to 855-616-1620. Join us tomorrow for the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup. News time, 2:21.
It's like playing baseball in the house.
Mom, Dad broke the window.
Without the risk of...
Again.
That. Every Thursday at 8:40, play virtual baseball on Wisconsin's Morning News. Step up to the virtual plate and test your mettle against the best.
Swing and a drive to right.
It's virtual baseball, presented by Siding Unlimited. Only played here on WTMJ.
Carole King, one of the most beloved and successful songwriters of all time.
I feel the earth move under my feet.
The Fireside Theater presents Tony and Grammy Award-winning Beautiful, the Carole King musical. Her story from 18-year-old songwriter of Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow to writing hits for the biggest acts in music to the trailblazing success of her album Tapestry.
And it's too late, baby, now it's too late.
Beautiful features such unforgettable classics as Pleasant Valley Sunday, We Gotta Get Out of This Place, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, On Broadway, The Locomotion, and of course, Unnatural Woman.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
Every ticket to the Fireside includes memorable dining, spectacular gift shops, and free parking. Order your tickets now. Call 920-563-9505 or visit firesidetheater.com. Beautiful, the Carole King musical, through May 26th, only at the Fireside Theater.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can, but you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back, but it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Good news, bad news. The good news, inflation today is nothing like it's been in the past few years. The bad news, lower inflation doesn't mean lower prices. In fact, one recent study says investors still consider inflation their single biggest threat. If you're concerned how inflation might affect your legacy, your financial freedom, or your confidence, meet with the team at Annex Wealth Management. We're fee-only fiduciaries. We'll build a plan together and guide you on the steps to take to reach the retirement you desire. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
Nothing wrong with the Little Doobie Brothers on Friday afternoon. It's spanning the state. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Kristen Bry. And Brian, how did it feel to say goodbye to the night, WTMJ at night, last night?
It was a little bittersweet, to be honest. It's been a lot of fun doing the show because, let's be honest, when nobody's here and the bosses aren't listening, you can do pretty much whatever you want. And that was our stock in trade, doing whatever I wanted. But I worked with a lot of great producers over that time, and they all congratulated me and asked if they could be part of the final show. And I was honored that they were. Some of the responses were frankly a little bit shocking, like Greg Hill, who now produces Wisconsin's Morning News.
Wow, I can't believe it. Your time on WTMJ Nights is coming to an end. All the memories we had together, I loved producing for you. All the times you called me Pancake, the memories that we made. I can't believe Scott Warris, it's your last TMJ. Wait. Oh, he doesn't host anymore? Who hosts now? Who? Oh, the beer guy? Oh, yeah, he would tap in remotely every once in a while. That's who's been around the office? Okay. Yeah, Brian, congratulations on a great run, man. I loved all the things we did. Anyway, happy birthday, Brian.
So did he produce for you? Sounds like he didn't really remember.
No, I distinctly remember Greg being on the other side of the glass up on Capitol Avenue, and I don't know. He gets up really early now, and he's got a baby at home, so maybe he doesn't sleep. He seemed a little bit confused, but it was the thought.
Thought that counts?
No, not in this case. The thought was way off. And then one of my current producers, Matt Yazel, decided he wanted to send me some goodwill.
Hey, Brian, your longtime producer here, almost a full month. Matt Yazel, I hear you're leaving us on the night shift and moving into the daytime. And, Brian, frankly, I have some concerns. Again, in my long time producing you, I got a pretty good sense of the wide variety of topics you dove into in the wee hours of the nighttime, and I have some concerns about how that's going to translate to the daytime audience. My primary concern, Brian, is the alcohol. I mean, I've never talked about alcoholic beverages so much as I have in the few shows that I produced you. We just couldn't shut up about it. One day, it's this craft beer. One day, it's the Irish whiskey. One day, it's the St. Patrick's Day stories. When does it end, Brian? I don't know if we can bring that to the daytime energy. Then, you and I can't shut up about animals fighting to the death. We're talking about it all month long.
That's true.
You did something to me, and I'm just the producer. I mean, what are you going to do to the nice folks when the sun is out and they're listening to you? I don't know. I have some concerns. But, Brian, in all seriousness, congratulations. And I look forward to getting a beer with you sometime because apparently that's all you can talk about.
Yeah, okay.
To his credit, we have already talked about beer at least once this week with the...
That's true. That's true. And listen, you've got to know your strength. We've talked a lot of political policy. I don't know which one is more important.
Which one's more entertaining?
Well, not entertaining, just, which hits closer to home. But yeah, so they did that, and it was something.
It was something.
It was something. I don't know. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Or do we have?
I think we can play them with the last one.
Max did one too.
Well,
Max
Brian,
Meyerson.
I just wanted to say congrats on your retirement. I mean, move to the afternoons. Most people, when they step away from a show at your age, they look to work less. Now you'll be working more than ever. Truly a brilliant move. But I know you're going to crush it on spanning the state. I have no doubt your wits and comedic timing will translate well to an earlier audience. And all the great news items you bring to the table, like runaway balloons taking out power lines and March mammal madness, the real hard-hitting news stories that the people need to hear. Now the show will be as different without you as TMJ Nights was from TMJ at night. But in all honesty, you've been really kind to me, always made me laugh. You've made doing the show an absolute breeze, and now I can proudly say I consider you a really, really bad friend. I mean, what kind of friend would leave me like this? It's not too late to take it back. I just got here. I don't want to learn how to do a whole new show. Whatever. Enjoy your new show. I'm sure you'll be great. Yada, yada, yada. Please don't leave me.
Oh. Well, actually, who did win the March Mammal Madness?
Oh, the March Mammal Madness, a great white shark.
Oh,
Beat
so
the
you
squid.
Lost.
Oh, I lost.
What do you
Stop
choose,
it.
the sperm whale?
I had the sperm whale, and the sperm whale got beat by a squid because the squid squirted ink, and when the sperm whale breached the surface, it was hit by a ship. That doesn't count. Trust me, we railed about it, and the scientists actually started commenting on X about how angry we were.
All right, well, you're stuck with me now.
Vice versa.
ABC News and local headlines are next.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. warning Israel that Iran is preparing a possible attack in retaliation for airstrikes that killed high-ranking Iranian officials in Syria. The U.S. now moving more troops and assets to the region. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby says the mission is to deter and support Israel's defense.
I would just say that we're watching this very, very closely. We still deem the potential threat by Iran here to be real, to be viable, certainly a credible, and we're watching it as closely as we can.
The House renewed a key portion of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act today. The measure now heads to the Senate. The so-called FISA law allows U.S. intelligence to gather information overseas on foreign nationals without a warrant. Vice President Kamala Harris in the battleground state of Arizona today for a campaign event. It follows the Arizona Supreme Court ruling upholding a Civil War era law that bans nearly all abortions in the state. This is ABC News.
Saudi Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:31. I'm Jessica Ty. A 33-year-old Milwaukee man is now charged with killing and dismembering 19-year-old Shade Robinson. Maxwell Anderson was in court today. He's also charged with arson after Robinson's car was found on fire. A friend reported Robinson missing on Tuesday, April 2nd. That's the same day a human leg was found at Warnemont Park in Cudahy. This morning, Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball confirmed that leg belonged to Robinson. Additional remains found in Milwaukee are still being identified. We now know the identity of a man who was shot and killed by Waukesha police this week. It was 50-year-old Christopher Milakovich. Officers arrived at the Waukesha CarMax Tuesday morning to investigate a theft. When they got there, they found Milakovich walking away. They say he didn't comply with orders when they tried to arrest him and that he was making overt actions consistent with pulling a gun. That's when officers shot him. It was later determined he did not have a gun. 4 officers are now on administrative leave while this case is being investigated. And a Kenosha man is under arrest today for making a bomb threat against Costco. Paul Garchek is charged with making terrorist threats and robbing a financial institution. Both are felonies. Investigators say Garchek called in a bomb threat to Costco and robbed a Chase Bank in Pleasant Prairie on April 6. He was taken into custody today by the Kenosha Police Tactical Response Team. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not so good. The Dow is down 534 points to 37,924. S&P 500 down 83 points to 5,115. NASDAQ down almost 290 points to 16,152. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's check out your roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-41-45 south, close to Appleton Avenue. There's some debris out there, and because of that, the left shoulder is blocked. We're also starting to see some delays, including 94 westbound downtown to the zoo. It's only a minute delay, but we don't always see that at this time of the day. I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown, that's an 8-minute delay. 894 southbound, the Zoo Interchange to the Hale Interchange, a 1-minute delay. 894 westbound, the Mitchell Interchange to the Hale Interchange, that's a 2-minute delay. And here's your Storm Team 4 5-day forecast. Tonight, expect mostly clear skies at a low temp of 40. Tomorrow is looking wonderful. Mostly sunny with a high of 64 by the lake, 67 inland. Sunday looks pretty fantastic, too. Mostly sunny and mild, high of 67 by the lake, 73 inland. Then looking ahead to the start of the new week, Monday, partly cloudy and mild, high of 64 by the lake, inland 70. Tuesday, thunderstorms, high of 66 by the lake, 69 inland. It's currently 59 degrees in Johnson Creek, 63 in Pleasant Prairie, and 62 here in downtown Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Sunny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:34.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala.
nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Hey, John Mercure here with my friend Joe Shutman, the owner of Sidex Window Siding and Baths, who tells me it's not so much about the product, it's about the customers.
At the end of the day, this is a people business.
Sidex did my bathroom and transformed it by taking out a bathtub and putting in a gorgeous walk-in shower.
We got to make people happy at the end of the day, and that only works by getting it done right.
Joe took over the business when his dad passed away, and carrying on his legacy is what it's all about.
Nothing's more important to me.
It's Sidex, S-I-D-E-X, like excellence. Check out SidexRemodel.com.
For your next night out, make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel, your dinner destination. Aria, nestled on the second floor of St. Kate, is an artful dining experience that captivates with its culinary creativity. Delighting in its offering of artisanal American cuisine, the restaurant transcends tradition and leans into the realm of playful and inventive flavors. Come and experience the magic of Aria, where every bite is a work of culinary artistry. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com.
Have you been watching the Masters, Brian?
Well, it's impossible not to see it here. It is on every monitor throughout the entire office.
We have some golf pros at this company.
A lot of golf enthusiasts, and I'm not throwing shade at the Masters. It's just not my thing. So I appreciate the pageantry of it, the exclusivity of it. I would like to have a pimento cheese sandwich, but other than that, no, I'm not watching.
Well, also, did you know that Wisconsin is home to 10 of the top 100 public golf courses in the country? We are a golf state.
And I love that they're listed on the public course list,
yes,
where, you don't have to be somebody of means to go to a country club. You can be just somebody who likes to play golf.
You still got to pay to
You got to pay,
to
but
play,
it's not
you don't need a
like
membership.
country club memberships.
And so, yeah. So I think I remember when this, because it was Golf Digest
Yes.
published America's 100 greatest public golf courses. It was last summer, and it was 10 were in Wisconsin, which was awesome. But then more recently, I saw this on Twitter where Stephen Watson from ESPN Milwaukee and Bally Sports, on-air host, had tweeted out a really cool experience that they got to do, and they also filmed the entire thing and made a short film about it. So basically, he and DJ Pahowski from No Lane Up played all 10 of these courses, so 180 holes of golf in less than 40 hours.
I don't know how that's possible.
Well, you'll be able to ask them because
that's
they
good.
are
I'm
here.
glad they're
so
here.
When we come back, Stephen Watson's going to join us. Rob Jansen, who's the Wisconsin State Golf Association Executive Director, who basically was the brainchild of this whole thing. And then also Jason Yankee, who is the videographer who made the filmmaker who made this. So if you'd like to see the video that they made, or the short film that they made, text LOOP to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how nothing could go wrong to be able to pull this off, because they had to drive from course to course. Yes. They had to play all of it. So talk about, I just want to know how sore they were the next day.
Yeah.
All right, that's next. This is Spanning the State.
Hey, boaters! It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Some call them oddball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stacked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Sharks. Most people see them as a threat, but we see a potential cure. At UW Health Carbone Cancer Center, we're the only team in the world researching whether antibodies from sharks can be used to fight cancer. A discovery that would revolutionize the future of cancer care, turning possibilities into remarkable realities. So one day, instead of what if, we can ask what's next. UW Health Carbone Cancer Center. Remarkable.
If you're like me, you always like to add a little something new to the wardrobe. But when money's tight, it makes it harder. And that's why you shop at St. Vincent de Paul for a terrific selection of women's clothing at thrift store prices. Brand names, too, with a selection that's always up to date and looking great. You're going to find something cute at the right price, and you're going to love it. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd in Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Bernhardt.
Hey there, I'm Sandy Max, live in Dousman in Lake Country, and I'm so happy that the Sprinkles held off for the groundbreaking ceremony at Three Pillars of their new active adult community, The Fields at Three Pillars. And I'm here with one of the revelers, one of the celebrators. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Kathy, and Tim and I are from Delafield.
And Kathy, what are you most excited about this expansion at Three Pillars?
We live in a house now, and coming to an introductory meeting for the Pillars, we saw the beautiful grounds, the nice people, and the things that are going to be happening within the next couple of years. So we are definitely going to be downsizing and thought that this was the place for us. There are a lot of activities, and we're going to meet new people, and we still will be living near our old friends. So it's a win-win situation.
Well, Kathy and Tim, it sounds like you're going to have a great time at Three Pillars, and enjoy the rest of the groundbreaking ceremony. And if this sounds like a good option for you, check out the website, threepillars.org.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan, and I used to golf a little. I caddied for many, many years, but I could never imagine playing more than 18 holes at a time.
What
That would
about
be it.
180 holes in less than 40 days?
Less than 40 days?
Or 40 hours, sorry.
40 days, I might be able to do it. 40 hours? No, what do you know? Who would do something that ridiculous?
Stephen Watson and DJ Pyhowski.
Oh.
And so right now we have in the studio with us Stephen Watson. Say hi.
Hi, and congratulations on the new show.
Thank you. We appreciate that. So Stephen is an on-air host with Valley Sports Wisconsin and ESPN Milwaukee. We also have Rob Jansen, who is the Wisconsin State Golf Association Executive Director.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you here. And then we also have Jason Yankee, who is a videographer and editor of The Dream Loop, which is why we guys have you here, because you played the top 10 courses in Wisconsin, out of the 100 in the country, in less than 40 hours. And I saw this when you tweeted it out. First of all, the video, the documentary looks incredible as far as how you shot it. But what an undertaking. So, Rob, you came up with this idea, right?
I did, yeah. Some have called it crazy, and I think that's pretty accurate.
It's the perfect amount of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, everyone loves lists, right? Everyone loves a good list, and Wisconsin's fortunate to have 10 courses on the Golf Digest Top 100 public golf list in the country. So we're looking for ways to promote that and get the word out, because there's still some people that don't know. And the other great thing about Wisconsin, these courses are public. They're also pretty close together. So I started thinking, wow, somebody could really play these in a short amount of time if they wanted to, and came up with this itinerary to play all 10 in 40 hours. I'm like, this could be interesting. I don't even know if it's possible, but I set up the itinerary where if we get good weather and can find two people that are actually willing to do this, we could give it a shot.
So go ahead,
Stephen. When you were presented with this opportunity, did you just shake your head and go, "Yeah, Rob is a little off his rocker," or did you like, "This is it. Let's go. 40 hours. We can do this."
The answer is yes.
Yes,
it was
both,
both
okay.
of them. So DJ Pyhowski, who actually invited me, I was just an extra in this entire thing.
Okay.
So Rob went to DJ Pyhowski of No Laying Up, which if you're a fan of golf, he's essentially a golf influencer. DJ would probably hate that I call him that, but he has made a living going around and covering professional golf and doing his own golf documentaries and kind of just growing the game of golf. And he moved to Milwaukee a couple years ago. We became fast friends once he moved here through some mutual friends. And Rob got to know him just through their love of golf together. So I was just invited as the +1 so DJ wouldn't have to do this by himself. And it ended up being 5 of us, along with Dylan Block, who did still photography that day for the WSGA and social media. And it was unbelievable. Without the 5 of us together, I don't think we could have pulled this off. If it was just DJ and I together, I think we would have gone crazy. But we all had the right energy. We had the right enthusiasm. We all got along really well. And to Rob Jansen's credit, it was planned to perfection. We needed everything to go our way. We needed perfect weather. We needed no traffic. We needed empty tee times. We needed places to stay that would be okay with us taking 3-hour naps, essentially, overnight. And Rob was the man. I call him the architect of this entire dream loop, and he pulled it all off. I just had to hit a ball straight.
So walk us through what the itinerary, where did you start? Where did you end? What was the turnaround times between the courses?
Yeah, so we started up at Kohler. There's basically 5 of these courses in or near Kohler. You have the Irish course at Whistling Straits, the Straits course at Whistling Straits, and then over at Black Wolf Run, you have the River course and the Meadow Valleys course, and then just down the road in Sheboygan, you have the Bull. So that's one day right there.
All within 15 minutes of each other.
That is wild.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so no travel times really, but you did have busy courses. So the rounds were a little slower, but no travel in between. That was a easier day compared to day 2.
Yeah, and we wanted to make sure we weren't asking for any special permission during this entire adventure.
Okay.
We didn't play through a single group.
Really?
But we had 36 holes done by 9 a.m. both days because we had to tee off in darkness and we had to finish pretty much in darkness. So
Because what time of year was it?
we played in July.
Okay, so the days were pretty
July,
long, but still.
8th and 9th or 9th and 10th of last summer. And so we finished our first 18 holes before public play even began. So we started our second loop before they even opened tee times to the public. And that was all part of Rob's itinerary.
So that was day 1.
Yep, day 1. And then there was a long drive across the state from the Kohler area over to Nakusa. Long car ride, some music, some people trying to sleep, some culverts, quick trip stop.
Yeah, we had to check some things off the Wisconsin itinerary. We had to hit Culver's, had to hit Quick Trip.
Yep, and then checked into an Airbnb, got 3 hours of sleep, and had to get back up and hit 5 more courses with more travel. That was probably the craziest day, I would say. We started at Sand Valley, great golf resort in central Wisconsin. Played Mammoth Dunes first with glow balls in darkness to start because we had to finish and get to the other course before their public tee time started so we could control our pace and play as fast as we wanted with nobody in front of us. Finished those 2 rounds, which I think Stephen would attest were some pretty memorable ones.
Yeah, those were both walking, and that was probably the most daunting part of the itinerary was having to walk 2 courses before public play really got going. So we teed off in actual darkness, day 2 with glow-up balls at Mammoth Dunes, which is one of the courses at Sand Valley's property. We beat our caddies by 4 or 5 holes. We just needed to get out. We needed every single second to finish day 2, and we were done with 36 holes by 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, my gosh.
Had you trained for this in any certain way? Because, even if you're a golfer, to say this is what we're going to do over the next 40 hours, that doesn't seem possible.
I've done some marathon golfing in the past. Every year I do 100 holes in one day to benefit the MAC Fund, which is actually coming up.
We just had Greg on earlier.
Yeah, so I actually play with Greg Matzik and Gabe Neitzel, both.
Okay.
The three of us all play together, and we try to raise some money for the MAC Fund. So that's my most experience of marathon golfing, but
that's in carts too.
That's all in carts, and it takes about 11 hours to do. And if you just play at a relatively normal pace, you can get it done. Pretty much anybody who starts, and as long as the weather's okay, finishes that day. To play 180 and have to walk, especially on day 2, 3 of the 5 golf courses, it was a physical test. But I think more than anything, it was a mental test. And to start off day 2 by getting through the physical part quickly, that was a big check for both of us mentally, and I think for Jason, who filmed the whole thing too, just to get through that part. I feel like we kind of knew we were going to complete it at that point.
What was it like to film this? Because as you said, it's not like the courses are clear and that there's not other people trying to just play their rounds of golf. And so to get the shots that you needed to get, Jason, was this, have you done things like this before, or was this a new undertaking that you hadn't done?
And it was dark.
Yeah, it was definitely new. I've shot golf before, but nothing to this extent or this crazy, like we said. But yeah, in the dark was interesting. Thank goodness for the glow balls. It was sort of interesting because I didn't want to roll on every single shot, but the putts I found I had to roll a little bit more often because they'd hit cool putts, and that makes for interesting content. But yeah, it was just a lot of battery management, a lot of like making sure I'm in the right place at the right time. Thank goodness it wasn't like every shot of this adventure, just trying to get the highlights. But
did you make them do any shots over? They're like, oh, just do that again. Everything was actually their putt, their hit.
There might have been a mutiny to have these guys re-hit shots. Yeah, just play some more shots.
Jason was a very kind editor. He made us both look a lot better than we actually
So
are.
did you keep score?
Oh, yeah.
Who won?
We had to stay engaged, so we had a match. So we had a 180-hole match that we played.
Any gimmies?
Yeah, we had a kind of a rule inside a certain... If you're putting for birdie or par, we actually had to honor it. But at that point, if the hole is over, we scooped a couple. But for the most part, we were balling hole for the entire journey. One of my favorite things about it is when we talked about this idea. Jason, how long was this supposed to be? The film.
I had this crazy idea that it would only be about 15 minutes, and then I got all the footage. I got all the footage into the editor, and I was like, man, there's so much good stuff here. And the more I kept chipping away at it, the more I didn't chip away at it because it was just interesting. It's fascinating. It ended up just short of an hour.
And so now people can watch it. It's the Dream Loop, if you text Loop to 855-616-1620, we will send you the link to the YouTube where you can watch it on YouTube. And so, Rob, I guess final question, was it everything you thought it would be?
Oh, and then some. I mean, just amazing how this came together just with great people, and to have it out there and people actually watching it. I think we've had over 87,000 people watch this thing on YouTube, which is amazing and definitely checks the box of, hey, we're trying to get the word out about Wisconsin, highlight all these great courses we have, highlight how convenient the travel is. And so for people to watch it and comment about how much they enjoyed it and thought it was so fun to watch and kind of go along on the journey with us was really cool to see.
I think the craziest thing, too, for people who aren't familiar with the golf in this state, to know that we have 10 of the top 100 public golf courses in the country for a state that has a 6-month-long winter sometimes is pretty incredible. And the fact that we were able to drive to all of them in 40 hours. Yes, Florida and California have a ton on that list, but you can't play that many in that short amount of time. It's a reason why I have a golf show just next door on ESPN Milwaukee, is because I love the game and I love what this state offers for golfers.
Absolutely. All right, Stephen Watson, Rob Jansen, Jason Yankee, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Congrats.
News time 2:53. This is Spanning the State.
Hey, John Mercure here for Floor Coverings International. They just did the flooring in our house, and it is